Hello friends, Alan here, and today I wanted to show you how to make a realistic sounding drum kit in Studio One using just the stock plugins. So I've purchased this Sour Candy drum kit from Make Pop Music. I mainly do it to support the great community of Make Pop Music. I've learned a lot from them. But in this case, my other interest was to try and make it work in Studio One. As you can see in the description of the product, it has 5 kit versions. So the main kit is a Contact 6 kit, then they have a version for Groove Agent, which is from Steinberg and Cubase. They have one for Ableton Rack, they have for Logic Sampler and Slate Trigger 2. But there is no kit for Studio One, which is understandable. But my interest here was to try and make it. And the great thing about this kit is that they actually provide the samples, the one-shots that make up the kit. So this here is a folder with samples for a kick. So this is one kick, but there are 3 velocities as noted here. V01 and then V02 and then V03, and then there are 5 samples at each velocity that are used to give you some variety. When you hit the same kick at the same velocity 5 times in a row, you will get different samples. So this gives you a more realistic feel to the drums. So in Studio One we have Impact, which is the default drum machine. So let's try and bring these samples into its pad. So if we add it here, all the samples go here, and the default mode is velocity. And you can also switch it to round robin, but to get that realistic feel we actually need both. And unfortunately you cannot just get it like that with Impact XT. So I looked how they did it for the kit in, let's say, Cubase, and in Cubase they actually also don't have this ability in Groove Agent, and what they did was just a workaround that I didn't particularly like. So they just took the samples of the same velocity and placed them at different velocity levels. So basically the low velocity samples go 5 samples that occupy some small space, and then the medium velocity occupies some other space, and then the high velocity samples occupy the next space. So yeah, you don't actually get real round robin. So every time you hit a drum, so if you play it like live, then maybe you will hit different points, but if you program them, you would actually have to do it by hand and set different velocity levels for each hit to get a different sample. So that is a workable solution, but I didn't particularly like it, and I was wondering if I can do something about it to make it better in Studio One using Impact XT, and I think I managed to get it. So what we will do, we will take one impact, let's change its color to something like green, and we will use it for low velocity kicks. So let's switch this layer mode to round robin. So now every time we hit it, we get a different sample, 1 of 5. And now we will add another Impact XT and we will drag it on the same track so we can combine this into a multi-instrument. So let's rename them for clarity. So this will be velocity 1, this will be velocity 2, and let's drag another one, and this one will be velocity 3. So let's open the second one, let's change the color to yellow, and now we can drag a second set of samples here. Okay, let's set it to round robin. Let's open another one, set it to red, and this one we will drag the high velocity samples. Set it to round robin again. Yes. So let's bring them all here so we can see all of them. We can put them next to one another so you can see them at one time. So now when we hit the C1 key, we get all of the samples triggered. That's obviously not what we want. So what we can do about it is use a great feature of Studio One called Note Effects, and in particular we have an input filter. So we will add 3 input filters here in front of each of the impacts. And now let's extend the ranges so they cover C1. And now we can specify that the first input filter only will let through the hits that are at a velocity from 0 to 30%, and the middle one will go from, let's say, 31 to 70, and the third one will go from 71 to 100. So now when I hit the kick lightly, it will go to the first impact. If I increase the velocity, it will go to the second one, and if I hit hard, it will go to the third one. So we can do it for all sorts of drums, we can do it for snares, etc. And then in the end we can store a preset. Let's call it sour candy drums, and put it in some folder. And next time we can just go to our presets and take the sour candy drums preset, and we will get in here with proper round robin and proper velocity sensitivity. So I went ahead and added a few more samples. So I've added one snare, and I've added hi-hats. What I wanted to show you that there are a few challenges that I don't know how to solve properly yet. So one of them is that, as you can see, I've also routed them to different channels on the impact. So we have snares at channel 2, and we have all the hi-hats at channel 3. So, and this presents a few challenges. So as you can see, all of the impact outputs are now outputted as separate channels. So if you want to process them, it's not a big deal together. It's not a big deal. You can, take all the snares and then add a bus for them and just call it snare. And then you can add whatever, I don't know, let's say it's add a gated snare preset on Valhalla vintage verb, and now it's all of them sound like this instead of this. It's not a big deal to create it, but it doesn't save to the preset, unfortunately, so you will have to recreate it every time. So one workaround for this that I can think of is either to add it to your template if you're going to use it often, or just save it as a song, and then you can load this part from the song through the import song data. And then you will have all the stuff that you select there. Another challenge that I don't know how to solve is choking. It's most often used for hi-hats, for example, that you can set that closed and open and pedal hi-hats would cancel each other, choke each other. So you do it in Impact by assigning them all to the same choking group. So you have choking group 1 here, or you can, by default it's off or self, and you set it to choke group 1, and then they cancel each other. But as you can hear when I play it, it doesn't transfer between different impacts. So if you play a closed hi-hat softly, it will not cancel the louder, like the high velocity closed hi-hat or open hi-hat. So this is another challenge. Maybe we can solve it with some clever sidechaining or something like this. But if you have better ideas or just good ideas on how to solve this, please let me know in the comments. But overall, you can make a pretty cool velocity sensitive and multi-sample drum kit with several impacts in Studio One. Hope this video was useful, and I also wanted to mention that I've created this video just out of my own curiosity. No one paid me, no one asked me to do this with Sour Candy drum kit from Make Pop Music. But it's a cool drum kit. If you want to check it out, I will leave a link in the description below. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this, please subscribe, like it, share it with a friend. Let me know in the comments your ideas on how to improve on this concept. And that, thank you for watching, and see you next time.